Okay, airport security. We've all been there, right? That line, the trays, the clock ticking. It can be, well, stressful.
Definitely. That feeling of, am I holding things up, is pretty common.
So today we're diving into a really helpful piece I found from Daily Passport. It's called Seven Mistakes That Slow You Down at Airport Security.
Ah, good one. Yeah, I saw that. Some really practical stuff in there.
Exactly. Our mission basically is to pull out those actionable tips. We want to help you breeze through security or at least make it less of a hassle. Doesn't matter if you fly all the time or, just once in a while.
Absolutely, because often, as that article points out, a lot of the delays are actually avoidable with a little bit of prep.
Totally. So let's start with mistake number one they flagged, wearing the wrong footwear.
Right. Your shoes. Seems simple, but it's a big one.
We love our comfy lace-up sneakers, or maybe those sortie boots, but the TSA, well, they usually need you to take them off for standard screening.
And that's where the problem starts. Fumbling with laces, struggling to get boots off and on again. It takes time. Your time and everyone else's behind you.
Such a drag. So, the article's advice.
Slip-ons. Just makes the whole process much quicker. Slide them off, slide them back on. Easy.
Makes sense. And it's not just shoes, is it? They also mentioned accessories.
Yeah. Bulky jewelry, big belt buckles. Anything metal, really. It can set off the detectors, meaning you have to take it off anyway. Maybe pack that statement piece instead of wearing it through security.
Good tip. Oh, and they mentioned socks,
Hmm.
which I always appreciate.
Yes, please wear socks.
Yeah.
Walking barefoot on those floors. Well, let's just say it's probably not the most hygienic thing you'll do all day.
Agreed. Okay, so efficient feet covered was the next hurdle. Mistake number two.
Having a disorganized bag. This one's crucial.
Why exactly? What's the issue with just throwing everything in?
Well, think about the X-ray scanner. If your bag is just a jumble of stuff, the machine and the officer watching the screen might not be able to clearly identify everything. Ah, so that triggers a manual search.
Exactly. And that's where the real delays happen. They have to physically go through your bag.
Yeah.
The article suggests keeping things separate, like toiletries in one spot, clothes folded or rolled, electronics easy to grab, any food items grouped together.
Okay, strategic packing.
Yeah.
And that brings us to liquids, right? The famous or infamous 3-1-1 rule always catches someone out.
It really does. Let's quickly recap it. So liquids, gels, aerosols, they have to be in containers of 3.4 ounces. That's 100 milliliters or less.
Right.
All those little containers then need to fit comfortably into one single clear quart-sized bag.
Just one bag per person.
Yep, one bag per passenger. And there's a reason for these limits. It's tied to what the screening tech can effectively check. If you don't follow it, you're pretty much guaranteed to get flagged.
And nobody wants to be the reason the line stops while they sort out their shampoo. The article also had a good point about bags with laptop compartments.
Oh yeah, super helpful. If you could just unzip and slide your laptop out without digging through everything else, it saves a lot of hassle. Definitely. And packing cubes. I use those, mainly for space, but the article mentioned them for security too.
Yeah, they're not just space savers. Because they keep things neatly bundled, it actually makes the X-ray image clearer. Less clutter means easier screening and potentially less chance of needing that manual search.
Smart. Okay, moving on. Mistake number 3 sounds really important. Not telling officers about medical devices.
Yes, this is critical. If you have anything medical implants like a hip replacement, maybe a cast, if you use a wheelchair, an insulin pump, even just medications you need with you,
You need to speak up.
you need to tell a TSA officer before you go through the scanner or the metal detector. Don't wait for it to beep.
Why is being proactive so important here?
Well, it prevents confusion and potential alarms, for one, but also the officers can then provide the right kind of screening or assistance you might need. It just smooths the process and ensures you're accommodated properly.
Makes sense. And the article recommended checking the official source for details.
Absolutely. The TSA website has specific pages covering screening for travelers with disabilities and medical conditions. Definitely worth a look if this applies to you.
Good advice. Okay, next mistake. This one's timely for holidays or birthdays. Mistake number 4, leaving wrapped presents in your carry-on.
Right. You've bought a lovely gift, wrapped it beautifully.
And then security needs to see inside.
Exactly. They can't tell what's under the wrapping paper on the X-ray, so if something needs inspection, they'll have to unwrap it, which is, a bit awkward and time-consuming.
So what's the workaround?
The article suggests using gift bags instead. Much easier to quickly look inside if needed without destroying the wrapping. Just remember, gifts are screened like any other item.
Simple solution. Okay, mistake number 5 is something I think we're probably all guilty of occasionally. not fully emptying pockets.
Definitely. They say empty your pockets and we take out the phone, wallet, keys.
But forget the little things.
Precisely. The article mentions things like breath mints, tissues, maybe a lip balm. Even though they're not metal, the sensitivity of the spanners means they can sometimes still cause an alert.
Leading to a pat-down you could have avoided.
Yep. Best bet. Just make it a habit. Everything out of your pockets and into your bag or bin before you even step up to the scanner.
Good discipline to have.
Okay.
Okay, number 6 requires a bit of homework before you fly. Packing prohibited items, sometimes unknowingly.
This is where things can get surprising. We know the obvious no-nos, but some rules aren't intuitive.
Like the examples in the article, there were quite something.
Were they? Live lobsters are apparently okay in carry-on. Which, okay, interesting.
Bizarre, but then something seemingly harmless isn't allowed.
Exactly. Like peanut butter. If it's over the 3.4-ounce limit, it's often confiscated because technically it falls under the liquid, gel, aerosol category. Same for snow globes. The liquid inside puts them over the limit.
Wow. Lobster, yes. Big jar of peanut butter, no. It really shows you can't just guess.
You really can't. That's why checking is key. The article points you to the TSA website or their app, My TSA. They have that great feature, what can I bring? Just type in the item and it tells you.
Definitely worth doing if you're packing anything slightly unusual. Saves a lot of potential hassle.
For sure. Okay, final mistake, number 7. This one is about not taking advantage of a program. Not enrolling in TSA PreCheck.
Ah, yes, the frequent flyer's friend. The article really pushes this as a time saver.
And it absolutely is. TSA PreCheck is basically a trusted traveler program. You apply, go through a background check, and if you're eligible as a low-risk traveler,
You get the perks.
you get the perks, expedited lanes, and usually you don't have to take off your shoes, your belt, a light jacket, or take your laptop out of your bag. It's much, much faster.
And the stats back that up right.
They do. The article mentioned that something like 99% of pre-check passengers wait less than 10 minutes. That's huge,
Yeah.
especially compared to standard lines during peak times.
That's a massive difference. And it helps families, too.
Yeah, good point. Kids 17 and under can usually use the pre-check lane with their enrolled parent or guardian if they're on the same booking.
So if you travel even just a couple of times a year, pre-check really seems like something to seriously consider.
I'd say so. It's an investment, sure, but it pays back in time and reduces stress pretty quickly.
Well, that covers the 7 big mistakes from the Daily Passport article. Hopefully, hearing about them gives you some, practical ways to make that security checkpoint less of an ordeal.
Definitely. And it's interesting, isn't it? When you think about it, these are mostly small changes in how you pack or what you wear, but added together, they can make a real difference to your travel day.
Less time shuffling in line, more time for, well, anything else. Grabbing that coffee, finding your gate without sprinting.
Starting your trip feeling a bit more relaxed.
So maybe think about it next time you fly. Which of these little things could you tweak? Consider the cumulative time you'd save over, say, a year of travel. What could you do with that extra time? Definitely some food for thought for your next adventure.